Hi everyone, afternoon. Hope you're all okay. I'm on a couple of minutes early just to have a chat first and make sure everybody's okay. So if you're on, come and say hello. Anybody there? Is there anybody there? Hello everyone. Got a few people on, I think. Hi Dawn, how are you? Hope you're all okay. That was my phone, so I'll just mute that. Afternoon, Mum. How are you? Hi, Ali. How are you? So, today I'm going to be doing this card. It's stands quite proud. It's got a nice little bit that sticks out here, which I got a little verse on, and then the writing actually is done on the back. So this is a card that I sort of made up 5 years ago in November, yeah, 5 years this month, which I actually taught in my class 5 years ago and thought it would be lovely to do again. So I'm doing this as a live today. Hello Deborah, how are you? So as you can see, there's lots of little things in here. There's embossing on the card and stuff. That's done with an embossing folder, but I'm actually going to be showing you how to do some sort of design like that with your scoreboard. Okay, so without further ado, because it's got to be 2 o'clock now, let's get going. So with this one I actually used a Lagoon opaque pigment ink pad from Harmony, and I used an old Spectrum Noir BT6 alcohol pen, which the colours really match each other. But today I'm going to change my colours and do an orange version, which is unusual for me because I don't tend to do orange. So I'm using an orange opaque pigment ink pad and an OR3 Spectrum Noir, but obviously you may have different pens. So, and the 2 stamps I'm actually going to be using is the Friendship Flower stamp from Julie Hickey and the Birthday Best Wishes stamp from Julie Hickey as well. Hi Annie. Hi Sarah. So yeah, so this is the card I'm going for. I'm going to do the back bit as well, and I'm going to show you step by step doing this, so just keep alongside, and then you can always follow this if you want to do it yourself later on. Like I said, I'm going to be doing an orange version of it today, so I can put the teal colours away. So let's get started. So don't forget to, if you can, share the video, because then you might know somebody that isn't friends of Valley Craft at the moment, so it might be that they don't know about us and they might like to see this video as well. Hi again. So my first piece of card is an SRA3, so it's 45 centimeters long and it's 32 centimeters high, but that doesn't matter. We only need it to be 21 centimeters high, but we do need the 45 centimeters wide. Okay, and the first thing I'm going to do is take this pop it in landscape onto my scoreboard, and I'm going to score at 7.5 centimeters. So I always work in centimeters. A lot of people work in inches, but I work in centimeters. Hiya Judith, how are you? So what I'm doing, I'm just scoring at 7.5 centimeters and 15, and then I'm going to flip the card over and do exactly the same. So 7.5, 15. Okay, and then if I score this ready, then you'll be able to see the shape card that we're doing. So what we're going to do is bring that score line over. I'll take my tool and burnish it, and then put the other one the opposite way. You can just make sure it's squared up and score that all the way down. And then on this one, actually taking the 15 centimeter score line, I'm folding that, and then folding that one back as well. So basically I'm making some sort of a gatefold card, but it's got an extra opening. Okay, and that's lovely. It almost meets perfectly in the center, which is what we needed. Okay, so if you have any questions at all through the demo today, then please ask. If I don't respond by voice to you, then Gavin will respond via message. So I'm just taking a little trim off the end with it folded, just to clean up that end and make sure it is perfectly square. And then I'm going to turn it around and cut it to 21 centimeters. Which is about 8¼ inches, but I work in centimeters, so that's 21, and then you've got a little bit here that you could use later on for another card. So now I have my card base, and we're going to be die cutting this a bit later, so I will put that to the side. So first of all, it was, oh dear, hope your back gets better, Judith. It's nothing worse than a back problem. So the main card was 45 centimeters wide, 210 high, 21 centimeters, and then I scored at 7.5 and 15, turned it around, 7.5 and 15, and then you fold that over to make a double folded gatefold. Okay. Hi Judith, Selby. So what I'm then going to do is, so I've sorted out the card base, which is the bit to fold in and out. I now need to sort out this area here, so the two panels are on the front. So the first thing you need to do is take a piece of white, and I'm using the 200 gram super smooth today. Don't need to use 300 because we're going to be die cutting through 2 layers. So we're going to use a 200 gram super smooth, and we're going to cut it to 13 centimeters while it's landscape. And we're going to turn the 13 centimeter piece and cut that at 19 centimeters. And the big piece that come off will actually come for another panel later. So that's my 13 by 19. And then I need to take a piece of colour card. So this is from our pick and mix. And I'm going to cut that landscape again at 14 centimeters. So that's 14 by 20. So that's 14 by 20. And this piece then will mat and layer nicely on the top of there. Okay, so I'm just going to pop the cutter down. So to be able to die cut through this together and know that it's going to be in exactly the right place, what I need to do is turn over the white piece of card, place a little bit of double-sided tape sort of central to the top square there, and central to that sort of bottom square there. So just one little piece. You could use removable tape, which would be a lot better. Hi Caroline, hope you're all keeping well. And then what I'm going to do is, that's just two little pieces of double-sided tape, and I'm just going to take the backing off of them. And if you don't want that to be too sticky, then you just tap it up against your top or your trousers or whatever you've got on, and then that'll add a little bit of fluff to it and just take a little bit of the sticky away. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to place that central to my colour piece and rub it in. So that now will actually hold it in place, and that's what we need. Okay, and on this card I use my hexagonals, but on the orange card today I'm actually going to use some circle dies. So I've already chosen which ones I'm going to use, and I'll explain why I've chosen them as well. So I've chosen the largest of the dies, and that's so that it leaves a little bit of white either side, and that I can actually match the same amount of white either side to the top. Okay, and then because we need to make this frame that is inside here, we're going to take, so on my die set here I've actually taken 3 dies down from the larger one I've chosen, and I can give you a size on that as well. So the widest die I've used is 10.5 centimeters, and the narrow one is 8 centimeters, sorry. So it's 8 and 10.5. Okay, and that's all I'm going to do with that is take a couple of pieces of low tack tape, which I've used before, so I'm reusing again, and I'm going to put that through my little cutting machine, which I will bring into shot now as well. So I'm just using the grand caliber today, and I'm just using half-size plates, and I'm going to just pop that onto the white plate and place the grey plate over the top. And I'm just going to cut through that. So I'm actually cutting through the 2 pieces, so I'm going back and forth on this one. And then you just make sure that it's cut. Yep, that's dropped out lovely. Centerpiece dropped out, which we'll be using that later. So don't throw out the inner circle. But we're actually going to be using the frame. So, and the only frame we're using is the white frame, so the orange frame can go to the side as well. But this is the most important part of this. Okay, so I can pop those dies away. And while I've got my cutting machine here, I'm going to bring in the piece with orange. I'm just going to push the front of my card down like that, so that's the open inside. I'm going to place that on the top so it's central. Okay, and I'm going to take the largest die that I used earlier, from the two. Take the largest die, which was the 10.5 centimeter one, and I'm actually going to re-push that back in to the groove, or where it came from, over the front of the card, and then I'm going to open that up. And literally what this will do then, I can actually slide that off, and the die is stuck on this side. And what I need to do is actually just cut the front edge. So if I open that up, it's going to cut through this layer and this layer, but obviously I need to cut it through so it cuts us through the two pieces at the same time. So I'm just dealing with this one half of the card first. And I can still bring in my half plates. Pop that on there. I'm going to put it through the machine like that. And because they're simple dies, it means that they will actually cut nice even through 600 grams of card, which is what this base card is. So you can see that's cut lovely. Okay, so that's the one side. So that you could use on another card if you wanted to. I'm going to pop that to the side. So just to show you what it's doing, it's actually cutting an aperture out of the side panel like that. Okay. And now I need to match the other side as well. So I actually need to match this side the same as that side. So to do that, let's remove my plates again. Bring that in. And because this is already cut on that side, all I need to do is slot that die back into that half, so it's pushed up, so the cut inside is actually pushed up to this bit. Just slots in, and I'm going to tape it to that side. So I've already cut that side, so I've just slotted my die back into that groove, and then when I open that up I can actually separate it, and then I can cut this side of the die, of the card as well. So I'm just going to bring in my the die cutting machines. You know, you just use the sandwich that you need to use, that's in the book, in the instructions. Just to show you, that's cut lovely as well. That's okay, Bev, never late. And you can always look back on these videos as well on YouTube if you want, if you need to find out how we got to where we got. So what I've got now is a card that opens up and has an aperture right through the center of the front two panels. Okay, so the next bit I need to do is I still have this piece that I've cut the larger circle out of to make that frame. So what I need to do is now bring in my trimmer. And the orange piece was 14 centimeters when we cut it down earlier. So it was 14 centimeters wide. So we need to cut this dead in half. Okay, so half of 14 is 7. So I'm just going to bring it to 7 on my guillotine, hold it down, and I'm cutting through the two pieces. And now there's my two halves. And they've stayed together because obviously I had that tape in the center. And these panels would actually fit now perfectly on there with a nice white border around the edge as well. So I've actually made that right for the card. But I want to add some decoration to these white panels. So on the last card I showed you that I used a die. So that's all I'm doing. If you use a low tack tape or you've taken some tape off to make it non-sticky, dabbed it, then you'll be able to just remove it. And if you get to this point and the tape won't come off, you just dab it with anti-static powder and then it won't be sticky anymore. And then you can continue to do what we need to do now. So I'm just putting the two sides together, and this is the back end. I'm just going to tape it with my low tack tape across the seams just to join them. Okay, so I've now got that joined. And what we're going to do is take our scoreboard. So I'm going to show you how to do. Oh, this is a shame, Mum. It's not too complicated. It's as long as you follow the steps, anybody can do this card. Thank you, Judith, for sharing it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my scoreboard, my score tool, and from the back of the card where I've got my tape, on the centre of my score line, so the 15cm mark, I've actually marked it in black. Okay, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to score on the 15, and then I'm going to score 3 lines out. So 3 lines out. So all you do, you keep holding it. So it's every 4th line. So I've done the middle one, and I'm going 1, 2, 3 and scoring that one. And then 1, 2, 3, going up one. That's all you do, just hold it, keep going. 1, 2, 3. So if you need to do a little bit of decoration, 1, 2, 3. Doesn't always mean you need an embossing folder. You could actually do it with the scoreboard. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Might get a little bit on the corner there, and then we're going to do the same that way as well. So from the center, 1, 2, 3, and you just go across all your panels. 1, 2, 3. So I'm just going to keep counting 1, 2, 3 away from the line I've already done. 1, 2, 3, 3, 1, 2, 3, and there's just a little bit on that corner. And then, so that gives me a nice little lines going one way. And then to have them go in the opposite way, you just put the top corner there and the bottom corner on your line. And you do the same again. 1, 2, 3. Just counting 3 all the time away from the one I've just done. 1, 2, 3. Come down a line. 1, 2, 3. Through that. If you move, just make sure your point is on that line there. And because we've gone from point to point on every single one, it means you get this lovely diamond pattern going through it all. Okay, and it gives where they cross over, it's a perfect place then to put a nice little gem later. Okay, so you can see those diamonds are really nice. Okay, I will show you that again later on another piece, but for now we're going to start continuing on. So what I need to do now is remove that low tack tape. Turn these over so they're right way up, and then these two panels can be stuck to my orange panels. Okay, and I'm going to use my high tack all purpose. Yeah, it's a nice way of getting the design without having an embossing folder, and for some people who may have punches that they can cut circles out and do things with, they may not have an embossing folder that got diamonds on it, so it's a nice easy way. So I've just added some glue around there, and that then fits perfectly onto that side of the panel. Just bring that into shot. I'm just going to tap that to the side, make sure the circle bit is up against each other, and with a wet glue you've got a chance to push it around a bit and get it nice in place. So that's that piece. Then I'm going to do the same with this piece. So for those who have come to a class before, or have only just started coming to classes with Valleycraft, we are starting back up on Monday with classes. Again, only one per table, and all tables are screened off. So I don't know if Sheila wants to come on Monday, Judith. So all I'm doing is just pushing that down, making sure it's all straight and level. Slide it into place, and there's that. So now I have that design, and because I have that design now, I'm going to stick it straight onto my card so that I know it's out of the way. So all I'm doing is getting a bit of glue, and you just match it to the circle that has been cut out of there. Just push it in. Okay, so that's that side, and then let's grab the other side. So I'm just going to slide that in. And so all we need to do as well is make sure that they actually line up with each other, top and bottom as well, so that it looks like it's come from one piece. So get that down there, and that's that. So now it looks like we've got a panel on the front. Oh, lovely. So there we are. So now we have that. Okay, so that is my one panel. I have a frame to go inside there, and I will be cutting a bit more for that. Okay, so I'm going to leave that card to the side now and continue on with the next part. So the next part of the card is to sort out this little panel in the middle with the frame. I've already got the circle frame, but I need to do the other pieces, and I need to sort the back end bit, which is in the back there, which is the panels, and then I'm going to sort out the back bit there as well. So this card is quite easy to do once you've done all the steps. So the first thing is to take my piece of orange that I had left and cut a piece at 14 centimeters. 14 by 20. So that's one panel. And then I also need to take another sheet of orange, so you will use about 1.5 sheets of a colour card. So I'm cutting that again 14 by 20. So that's 2 panels at 14 by 20. Okay, so that's that. And then I need to take a sheet of 200g super smooth or stamping card, and I need to cut that to 13 by 19. That's one, and then the second piece again 13 by 19. So again we now have 2 panels. One of the panels we will do the diamond cross thing on, which I'll do in a bit just to show you that again, and the other panel we're actually going to stamp a sentiment on. So I will put that to the side until we'll do all the stamping together. So this one is the one that needs the diamond shapes done again. And don't forget, if you've cut it and you've got a line, then just flip it over to the back. So I want you to join point to point again. Let's go, and we want it to match the front of the card as well. So 1, 2, 3 away from it. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and it's easier because it's a whole sheet. 1, 2, 3. Again, you can just go up or down, doesn't matter. Okay, and then we're going to go from the diamond there, from the diamond there, on the point to the point, and go through there. 1, 2, 3, again. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and if you don't like trying to go that way because you're trying to find it hard to hold, just flip it around, put the corner to the corner, and continue just going this way. It does make it easier. And then I've got my second piece of diamond pattern card. Okay, so that can be stuck straight onto there, but because this is super smooth and it's a little bit thinner, I will actually use my all-purpose collal, because I do like using all-purpose collal on thinner papers. So I just go around the edge and I do a wiggle down the middle. Okay, so that's that piece. And you can see the diamonds are on there, lovely. So we're going to bring in the card, open it up, so you can see the lines on it where I've gone. I'm just going to place that inside in the centre, so that when you close it's got a nice little white border all the way around. Which means we've got that through there now. Okay, and then what we need to do is to prepare the next part. So is everybody keeping okay today? Enjoying the nice sunny weather? Or is it sunny where you are? So the next thing I need to do is to die cut my circle for my image, and this piece that came off there, I'm not sure if it'll be big enough for the large one. Not quite, but it's okay. So you can see it's not quite on the edge, but because I'm only stamping in the middle and the frame is going to go over this, it's not going to matter if it just misses the edge bits. So what I'm going to do is tape that there, and I will actually take a scissors just to make it easier for the machine. That there, I will cut along there. Okay, so we still got a bit here for sentiments and stuff later. So this was off the bit I took off always. So always sunny in Wales. Yes. Sometimes it's liquid sunshine, but yes. That's why the grass is always greener in Wales. We have lots of liquid sunshine. Okay, so I've actually cut that circle now. Put my tape to the side. As you can see, I always use old tape that's on the shelf as well. And I actually got my piece there. And like I said, it doesn't matter if this bit is shorter because that frame is going to go over the top. Okay. So the next thing to do now is to actually stamp into this circle. And I'm just putting my flathead at the bottom there. Doesn't matter, it's just to hold it in place. Put my magnets. So if anybody doesn't know what this machine is, it's a press to impress. Fabulous machine. If you're wary of stamping, it really does help. I'm going to take the Friendship Flower stamp set, which has got a few little sentiments, some hearts, some little text background, and a flower and leaf. This is a Julie Hickey stamp, which I seem to be using a lot at the moment. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to place that on there, move my magnets around so it's not in the way of my stamping. And I'm not worried about it coming off the edge either. I'm not worried about that at all at the moment. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pick that up. Then I'm going to take my VersaFine ink, or any dye-based black ink will do, because I'm colouring with alcohol pens. Just tapping my ink across the top, just gently tapping to ink it up. And then I'm going to bring that over and just put a little bit of pressure where the stamp is. and that I've stamped that. And then if it's a waterproof dye-based stamp and ink, you can just spritz it with water and clean it. No need for chemicals. But if you do leave it to the side and it's not coming off, or you find some of the colours not coming off, then I just use the stamp cleaner. So you just rub some of the archival ink cleaner on the top of your stamp, leave it for 30 seconds, and then give it a wipe off, and then spritz it with water and clean it again. So that's that there, and I've got that piece there. So I'm also going to want the large flower and the small flower again. And because I won't have room to do that, I'm actually going to take an acrylic block just for ease of use for this, because I only want the flowers itself. I'm actually going to stamp up the big one and stamp that on one of the little panels I had left earlier. So here's the big one. And now I'm going to stamp a little one on another panel. It missed a bit, but I'm not worried about that. And that's the thing with step press to impress. If I left it on there, I could have redone it. I could try going back over again with this, but it's not always advisable. When you've got to find the right flower. Sorry if I've just hit the camera. Sometimes you can line it up, but I'm just going to leave it and I'll show you how to fix that. And the next thing is actually taking my white piece that I didn't diamond on. Alright, we've just had the stamp cleaner back in as well, so that's good news. So what I'm going to do now, the piece of white I had left with the second bit of orange, I'm actually going to take one of the verse sentiments from Julie Hickey, which was the birthday best wishes stamp. And there's wishing you a wonderful birthday or sending best wishes to you. So I'm going to put wishing you a wonderful birthday on this one. And again, because I have the press to impress, I can place it where I want it, stamp face down, pick it up, just hold it up to the light, because there are lines on this clear plate. If you hold it up to the light, you can actually see if your sentiment is straight actually with the line that's on there, and then you'll know that it's going to stamp square. Any questions, everybody? Anything about the shop, whether when we're going to be open again, whether everything's going to be normal, whatever normal is these days. So now I've stamped that little sentiment-y verse there. Just going to remove that, and I'm going to stick it onto my orange bit ready. Using my all-purpose collal. Place that in the centre, and then that's ready to go on the back of the card, which I will do very last thing, because as I'm moving the card around, placing bits on the front, it could dirty the front of this, so I will put that to the side so it stays clean. And talking about clean, I need to then wipe the stamps, give them a clean, and if they don't, the ink's not coming off there, so obviously it's dried a bit too quick, so just tap this stuff on there. Just the stamp cleaner. I tend to wipe the top off as well on a little rag. and I've left it for 30 seconds. Don't even have to leave for 30 seconds if you know it's going to come off quite easy. And then that, and then still take some water just to get anything that is on there. Clean that. So you can see my rags are going to need a bit of cleaning soon. I just put my rags in with my washing when I'm doing the darks. And then we can remove the stamps. So again, the sentiment was from the Julie Hickey Birthday Best Wishes stamp set. And the flowers were from the Friendship Flower stamp set. And I'm actually going to be using these in my class this month, or at least some of them anyway, some of the Julie Hickey ones. List is on the website at the moment. So to show you what I do if I've missed a piece, is I take a fine micron pen and I just go in and draw it in by hand if I can't line up the stamp again. There we are. So there's my stamp all sorted. So that was just a fine micron pen. So that is now dry. That is now dry. And I need to cut these flowers out. So just quickly, just around the outer line, and I'm actually cutting in down to the center piece of the flower until it touches the center circle. Don't have to be too precise with this, as long as it's going to be matte and layered onto the card anyway. As you can see, I'm not worried about keeping the black line on. If I take some of it off, I take some of it off. There is a die that you can get for this flower as well, but it also cuts the background of part of it, so it leaves the two little things in it, but it cuts all the other bits of white from inside the flower out. So I want to keep that, but the reason I cut right in to the circle is so that it allows me to be able to shape the flowers a bit more. So I've cut the one, and I just need to cut the other small one. So you could do these in parchment as well, so you've got a nice see-through sort of aspect to it, nice smoky flower. Okay. So I've now cut out my two flowers, and I've also got these flowers there. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a bit of scrap paper, which is one I use on my glitter. So I'm just going to take that, and I'm going to take the orange colour pen that I chose, which was OR3. You can use any of the pens. It's a nice one, it matches the orange of the card. So all I'm going to do is just colour the inner petals of the flower. So no real skill about this, you just infill in that area. And because you've got the alcohol pens, you don't get any of the lines from colouring with normal felt tips. So there's the one. It's pretty quick, don't have to be too fussy. You could shade them if you wanted to, especially if you've got the tri-blend pens, be even easier with those. I would have used my tri-blend pens today, but they're all in work and we haven't been in for 2 weeks almost now. So that's that, and I'm even going to come down the stem there, down the stem there, and then the inner part of this leaf here, I'm actually going to pick out those little panels and colour them as well. I know it's a leaf, but who says it needs to be green? The leaves are all different colours, and my card is just staying to one tone of colour, which is just the orange this time. So that's that coloured that nicely. I'm going to take my individual flowers and do the same with them. Just fill in those petals. If there was a lot more flowers on this card, I would have coloured a few in preparation, but because there's only 4, I thought I'll do them when I'm on screen. So that's why I said step-by-step instructions on how to do this card, so you can actually watch it back in future and follow along and actually make this card yourself if you wanted to. So for people who have come to classes over the years with Valley Craft, you might remember this card. Okay. You might remember this card from November 2015. It was actually a Christmas card then that we made. We did Christmas scenes in the actual window of the frame. So now I have the image there. I'm going to take my frame and some foam pads. I'm just going to place them around the frame. Just to add a little bit of dimension to the frame. Peel off the back end. And I'm just going to hover over the top of the frame here and place that down. It's just giving me a nice little frame there. Okay, if it's sticking out a little bit around, you can snip it off, but I think that'll be okay actually. So you can see it's hiding some of the flowers. Okay, and that is the reason we actually did these as well. So I'm going to fit this into the frame first, into here, and then I'm going to fit the flowers on after. So what I'm going to do is get the flowers where I want them. That's it. Place some wet glue on the back of that. You can use double-sided tape if you wanted to. I'm just going to get that, and that'll slot perfectly into the centre of that circle there. Okay, just do that, push it down in the middle, lift up the one side, hold your frame, lift up the other side, and then just hold that down. And now we've got our little image in the middle there. Okay, so while that is like that, I will shape my flowers. Right, you still got the card, Judith. That's nice. I did look to see if I had one of the Christmas ones, but I think we used them all either as samples or given them out to family members when we did it from then. So I didn't actually have a sample of it. So that's all I'm doing is shaping the flowers and curling them. Just being careful not to rip them, because I've cut them closer to the centre. Don't want them to tear apart. So I'm just shaping them, and that's that flower as well. And then to stick my flowers on, I'm actually going to use the high tack glue. Spot of glue in the centre. Oh, that was lucky. And then I'm going to offset this flower. So that you get a bit of the bottom flower showing, and then the top flower actually goes over the top of the frame. So that's why I wasn't worried with the flower underneath that I'd stamped going under the frame, because I'm actually coming over the top of the frame with the other flower. Pop that into the centre there. Just use my tool just to push it in, shift. So there's my flowers in the middle of that. Okay. Yeah, it was a lovely card. I really liked it. That's why I wanted to do it again today, but change it from a Christmas card to a normal card. So that's that. So what I'm going to do is fit some pearls into the middle of this flower, in the middle of these flowers. I'm actually going to add my original high tack, and I'm putting more glue than I would normally, because I wanted to give it a go. And Phil Martin from Sentimentally Yours tend to do, he likes to use pearls. He likes to put a little bit more glue in, and then he likes to put a pearl in that is slightly, that will push the glue down so that it forms a ring of glue around it. So what I'm doing, I'm taking 2 white pearls. I am going to be doing the glittery ring. I wanted to have a little go at this because Phil's always doing a glittery ring on a lot of his flowers, so I thought I would have a go. So, sorry, with Phil Martin's sticky up tool, there's a little score tool on the back, and a wax front. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the wax front, and you don't push with it, you just touch the gem and it picks it up. Then I'm going to pop it on and just push it down gently, just so that it forms a ring of wet glue around the outer edge. And the same with the bigger flower as well. Just place it down, and you end up with a bit of glue. If I show you on that flower there, I can bring it up. You can see there's just a ring of glue around the outer edge of that pearl. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to take some glitter. So this is just a fine sparkly glitter. And I'm going to place some on there. I'm going to take my glitter catching paper, place it underneath, tap it off. And then there is actually glitter on that ring now. And when that glue dries clear, that's all will be around there, will actually be the glitter. So we can be completely clear with a little sparkle. Okay. And that was a lovely shot. So that is that bit. So I can then put that to the back, I'll put it to the side just to dry a little bit. Because we now need to do the band that comes along the front here. Okay. And to do that band, I want to do it in orange. So I know in the class we did this A4 length, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to do it A4 width. So that's the width, which is 21 centimeters, or it should be. I'm just going to check that. Yep, so that's 21 centimeters, and I'll explain how I work out this part of the process of doing this band that goes across the front. Oh, thank you. It does look nice, doesn't it? So what I'm now concentrating on is this little band that goes across the front, which actually pokes out from the card. Okay, so that's what I'm concentrating on. It's on this little band of card here. So what I need to do is measure what it is from the edge of the orange to the edge of that white card there, which I think is 7 centimeters. Okay, yes, it is. I like the idea. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut a piece of this to 2 centimeters. So that's 2 centimeters and is 21 centimeters wide, or 21 centimeters long, I should say, by 2 centimeters wide. Okay, so that's that. And then to actually sort out where to score is you're actually going to use, so the scoreboard on Phil's tool actually is quite good for this as well. So what you do, you put the length along like that and you score at 7 centimeters because it's 7 centimeters from the edge of your orange to where the mark is there. So 7 centimeters there, then turn it around and score 7 centimeters in the middle. There again, so you've got 7 centimeters, 7 centimeters. Okay, so what you then do is you fold those two back, okay, and you measure what you've got in the middle, which would be 7 centimeters. So for that to lay, when that is on there like that, for that to lay flat in the middle, we've got to sort of make a flat area for it, and it's got to fold down completely. Okay, So confusing myself here now. So 7 centimeters, so blah, blah, blah. Sorry, so 7 centimeters. If you break 7 centimeters into 4, then it's 1.5 is 3, 1.5 is 3. Yeah, so basically we need to take out just over the edge. So bring that score line on the 7, and then you're just going to 1.5 centimeters on that side and 1.5 centimeters on that side, and then when we fold that over like that, that should give us a proper way of folding it down. Okay, and then that'll go flat when we stick that onto the card. Okay, so you can see it's got that nice little, okay, so 7 and 8.5, turn it around, 7 and 8.5. There we are. So that's fine. Confused myself there a bit then. That's okay, Donna. Coming in. So I've already prepared that for the card, and we're aiming for that. Okay. So what I've done, I've got 7 there, 7 there, so that would go across the whole front like that. Okay. But if I want that to be in a little bit, then I can actually sort that out as well. So basically that is 15 long when I push it down, so I need it to be 14.5 that way, turn it around. So you just cut 0.5 centimetre off each end basically. It needs to be an even number, your strip, when you start off. Your strip needs to be even when you start off. So if you cut it to 20 centimetres, you strip at 20 centimetres, and then score it at 7 and 8.5, and then turn it around and score at 7 and 8.5. It'll actually fit perfectly in line with the orange there, perfectly in line with the orange there, and it'll all fold down flat on the front. Okay, so now I've got my piece that I've scored and folded. I need to now open that right out. Gonna flatten it out a little bit, and I'm going to take some double-sided tape. So you could use red liner, you could use double-sided, normal double-sided, you could use finger lift. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut the end straight. And the reason I'm using this is because tape, which will be 18 centimeters long. Just marking it. And then I'm going to cut it straight again. Okay, so that's 18 centimeters long. So all I'm going to do is place that in the center of there and rub it down. Okay, and we do that. And then I'm going to lift the backing off of the double-sided tape, bring my strip in with the glitter, place that down, and then to get the same glitter that I had when I did the glittery ring, just going to place that over there. I'm just going to rub it in So again, if you're using foils or stuff on this card, you could even use the double-sided tape and put your gilding flakes or your foils in that as well. So that's all I'm doing, I'm just rubbing off the excess glitter back in the pot. And then, as you can see, that is nice and sparkly. And if you find that it's still a bit sticky, you just tap your anti-static pad on the top of it. But that is lovely because the glitter's so fine, it's taken to everything. Okay, and then we just fold that back over. And now I've got glitter. Okay. So when you have your glittery border like that, we turn it over and we're going to put some glue on this area and this area. Don't touch the middle bit. Okay, so just put glue on that area and on that area. Okay, so there we are. So it's only on there and there, not in that centre piece there. And then just hold it up, decide where you want it, hold that down, and then fold this down flat, so it goes flat to the card, and then you just pull it to centralise it, and then you end up with your nice little bit along the front, which is this little bit here to put our sentiment on. Okay, so it just adds a little something to that without actually going overboard with so many colours. You can still see the orange through it, but it does put a little sparkle there as well. So to do the sentiment, if you remember, we had the circles that came from within the centre of our frame, which have got a bit of tape on the back. That's not going to matter. So I'm going to turn that over and we're going to use that as well. So for the sentiment to go on the front here, I'm going to take out, yeah, it is a very fresh looking card. I don't tend to use oranges a lot, but I fancied making something a bit different. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to look at what size circle I want. I'm going to go one bigger, I think. Yep, so I think that one and the one slightly smaller. So the large one I'm going to cut out of there, and the smaller one I'm going to cut out of there. Okay, I'm going to bring my machine in. The cutting plate. I'm going to cut them too. So has anybody got any questions at all? Coming quite close to the end of today's live. I don't want anybody thinking, oh, I wish I had asked that question while I was on the live today. So the waste from these two could actually be used on another card. You can overlap them on cards like that, make sort of an abstract card background on a sticky sheet, and then put glitter in between the gaps that are not showing. You know, you can use all the bits. But I've got what I need. Okay, so what I need to do is stamp a nice little sentiment into here, and on the greeny one I've put happy birthday special friend, which came from the same one as the flower friendship flower stamp set. But today I think, I wonder, yes, so today I'm actually going to put thank you special friend. So I'll make this as a thank you card. Okay, and on this one I'm just going to take one of Phil's, and sentimentally yours is round the blocks, just line up thank you special friend, and pick that up. Just going to make sure that's square with each other. Yep, that's square. So I have thank you special friend, just tapping it on my ink pad here gently in black. I'm going to stamp that central to the block. So there we are, so thank you special friend. Clean my stamps, pop them to the side, and then I'm going to take the little heart stamps from the friendship flower set, and I'm going to take my orange ink pad, which is the opaque pigment. You just tap gently on top of the sponge, tap gently, and now I've got my nice little orange hearts on there. So that's fine. I'll wash that stamp as well. Tiny, tiny, tiny little stamp. And then that is done. Put the stamps back on the carrier sheet, and then you won't lose them. Because I have lost a couple of sentiment stamps that have ended up in a bin with bits of paper, so you should always be careful at that. So that is now all the stamping done. So I'm now going to fit that onto my circle there. We think, do we have the pearls in the shop? I know we were waiting for some to come into stock. I think Gavin have had to order some from another company, and they're sticky back pearls and gems. They're a little bit more expensive than what we was getting, but the company we used to get them from hasn't got any in stock at the moment, so that's why that's not there. So what I'm going to do is stick this on there flat. Okay, so I need to do, I'm going to, because it's glitter there, So I hope that answered your question, Sarah. Never know whether it's Sarah or Sarah, sorry. All I'm going to do, I'm going to take this original high tack glue, put it over the glitter, make sure it's not too close to the edge, push it down. I'm going to push my sentiment onto the top of that, push it down. So you can see then that my little sentiment sticks out from the front. So when it's in front of people, it'll look like that, with the sentiment just proud of this level, and then everything else goes back in levels then. Okay, and then while that is drying there with the glue, I'm going to prepare the back panel to go on, and then I'm going to put some nice little pearls on the front where they cross over on the diamonds. So I stamped "Wishing you a wonderful birthday" on a panel, on a white panel which was 13 by 19, and then matte and laid that on a panel which was 14 by 20, which was the same size as the inner panels inside the card there on the back, the matte and layer that I did the diamonds. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to place some all-purpose collal on the back of this. Don't need to use a lot of this either. It's very, very sticky. The more you use, the more alcohol needs to evaporate, which means it takes longer to dry. So always use it sparingly. So that's all I'm doing. I'm just rubbing that onto there. Ah, look at that. That just dropped off my glitter. It's because I put too much glue on it. That's fine. Pop that back on there. And I'm going to be working on the front now, so that will actually stay on there. There we are. Right. So I've now placed my sentiment verse on the back, and that's your writing panel. Yep, no problem. And now I'm going to add some pearls to the front of this card here. So my pearls in my pot here, I've got all different sizes. The ones I've been building up over years, ones that we used to have from the pick and mix company we used to use, which completely stopped doing them then. That's all I'm doing. I'm taking some of my white small ones there, because then they'll match the white ones that I took for the middle of the flowers. Again, I'm going to use my original high tack glue, and where the points of the diamonds that I did on the background actually meet, I'm actually going to turn that to face me so I can see them more. All I'm doing is just pop in a little dab of glue on each of them. If you've got the fast drying glue in this, I mean this dries pretty quick, but if you've got the fast drying one, then just do a few at a time. If your pearls are not the right way up, just put them on the table and use your tool like that, and they'll start flipping over. I'm using the Sentimentally Yours pickup tool. Just placing one in each diamond point. And these are 4-5mm, these pearls. Okay, so I'm just going to continue doing these, putting them on. Okay, so that's the top part. I'm just going to add a few to the bottom. None of these pearls are turned over. Slide them along with a pencil or a pen and they'll just flip over. So you can see the difference the pearls make to this card. If I just show you the one half, if I just show you the bit there and there as the whole card, you can see the difference it makes. Okay, so you can see the difference with and without, and I prefer it with. Okay, so I'm now going to do the opposite side. Okay. And because we actually did the diamonds and went from corner to corner when we did the lines, they should match on the same either side of the card. Okay. Order, just get the pearls turned over again, and then we'll go for it again. Right, start at the bottom. So wherever, if you are putting a lot of glue down for the pearls, and just start putting your pearls down where you started putting the glue. Oh, thank you, Steve. Hope you're keeping well. Do use a few pearls on this. but it does make them different. It does change the absolute look of this card by adding these pearls in. I've got 2 stubborn pearls here. I just won't turn around. Let's get some more out, and then we can finish this card. I need a few more. Didn't like that one there. Didn't match the other side, so I'm taking that one off. Tiny one there. Okay, so that, if I turn the card the right way, is my card for the day. See, the pearls are lovely, and in fact I will put another pearl there just to match that one, which I will do now because otherwise it doesn't look right. Sorry, am I missing something? What was you thinking of ordering, Donna? Was it the full Julie Hickey set? I do tend to use them a lot these days. Okay, so there is my card from today. So I'll lay that there, so it's still in view. And I'll bring in my green one as well, just to show you. So, different shaped dies, similar sentiments, use the same hearts, use the same flowers, just in different colours. Use different paper. This has got a bit of a pearlescent, the green. Used the second verse that came with the set. Sending best wishes to you on that one, and on this one it's got wishing you a wonderful birthday. So there we are. So that pickup tool, yeah, you get 2 pickup tools in the set. So you get the 2 with the waxes like that, and then they've got the same size tool on the back. So it's the same tool, but they are quite weighty. But when your wax gets to the end, which will probably be in years, it's got a little screw thing on there that you can screw off and then replace the actual wax thing, which we can also get. Okay, but the waxes can be replaced, so never throw out the tool. So there we are. So that is the card for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, I wanted to use these stamps again, but doing the card that I'd already done, and I actually found my instructions from November 2015, which was a Christmas card where we put scenes and stuff inside and added glitter and things. So that is that. So there we are. So that's that, and that's that one. And I'd like to thank you all again for supporting Valley Craft, or supporting a local shop. If you're not from the area, then obviously you can support your local small shops, because they're the ones that's going to be really struggling at the moment, because the larger shops tend to still be able to keep going and they do a lot more online. So thank you for supporting local. No problem. Thank you, Judith. Thank you, Donna. Thank you, Beverly. Thank you, Sarah. And thank you, everybody, for your kind comments about the cards and for following us, for following everything, and watching all our lives. You can watch them all on YouTube as well. I think this is going to be number 43 when this one goes on. So there's 43 videos to watch on YouTube, and you just type in Valley Craft Limited. It's all one word, and you'll see like a yellow sun ray, and that'll be us. Or you can follow them from our website or from our Facebook. Okay, so thank you very much again for watching. Hope you had a lovely time watching as well, and hope you have a little go at these. And if you do, just share them onto our Valley Crafters website, Facebook page, and that'd be lovely. Okay, thanks everybody, and if you can share this, that'd be lovely. Thanks for all. Bye.